Things have gotten uncharacteristically quiet of late. Perhaps people are taking some time off to think. Then again, I could just be engaging in a haphazard flight of fancy about that. Oh, that's interesting. A college dropout who has spent his life engaged in junk science and cargo cult science just got blocked for impersonating a Nobel Prize-winning physicist who is one of the leading contributors to the theory of quantum mechanics. Actually, it might have been amusing to see Abd have an imaginary conversation with his imaginary friend.
Moulton, maybe you and Abd should try a role reversal imaginary conversation.
Actually, blockhead, that is not far from what I had in mind in my imaginary dialogues, and other silly flights of fancy, that I've penned as atrocious song parodies. What I try to do in those exercises is to find a tiny parcel of common ground, a tiny glimpse of empathy for the other person's suffering. When you blocked him just now, I was saddened for both of you, because it was a bellicocratic maneuver that, to my mind, went a skosh too far as a regulatory intervention. I would have done something a bit more democratic, to give Abd the opportunity of self-correction, rather than to assume he's incorrigible and in need of custodial restraints.
The psychodrama is rapidly descending into farce.
Yes, psychodrama is a curious kind of farce, after you have witnessed it a few times. It took me decades before I could muster the fortitude to watch Edward Obee's famous psychodrama, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, with Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. And it was very uncomfortable to watch the first 2 times. But it's basically a farce, dressed up as a scary movie. Literally, Much Ado About Nothing, since the little bugger is an imaginary baby whom they made up out of whole cloth as a joint flight of fancy. They spend most of the play viciously blaming each other for the death of the imaginary baby they never really had.
What does Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf have to do with Abd's silly psychodrama in Wikiversity?
Here the imaginary baby is the epiphany that never happened. False labor, as SB Johnny called it, when he was midwifing the pregnant goat who, in fact, did not have a kid inside her belly waiting to be born. It was false labor, he said. And by some mysterious symmetry, blockhead, the long-awaited epiphany that Caprice was hoping to midwife was false labor too.
How disappointing.
No epiphany arrived. And so I am disappointed.